Greetings, everyone. How are you today? Lots going on in the world. More people die every day. Incredible numbers. It's so sad. The flood just killed 700 people. The other earthquake killed over 3,000 people. We're not doing good. Hawaii's only saying 115, but it's a lot more than that. Uh, I'm not going to get into that. That's a different subject. I want to try to get into the subject I put up online right now. I want to get into really hardcore. So, Tina, we're going to get into a lot of different things, but let me introduce my co-host, Tina. Greetings. How are you?
Hi, Tommy. Thank you very much for introducing me. I'm Tina Bird here from Southampton in the UK for Encounters this evening. And it's me and Tommy Hawksblood who's transmitting from Hawaii. And we hope to see you. If you have any questions, please come on the show, email us. We're quite happy to have you on the show. And let's get this started.
So, people, I hope you read the topic. This is going to be for everybody. I mean, people that have seen something or people that have not. I see a lot of things. I answered a lot of replies before I started the show today. What's going on the internet? They're talking about Bigfoot. They're talking about different things. If you see a Bigfoot, it will change your life. I was next to one. I was put away from one, so I know they're real. I know the dangers that they could cause if they want to, because they are super strong. They smell real bad, but besides that, they're considered aliens in my book. We all are. We were all brought here. None of us grew and hatched from original seed here. So, people, we're going to deal with first. We're going to deal with UFOs. If you ever saw a UFO, where, how close were you to it? Tina, you want to start, or you want me to?
Actually, I'm going to let you start, Tommy. I've just been in craft and I've seen craft from a distance. Tommy's actually seen one up close. I mean, close. I've seen one from afar and I've seen them above my house. So I'm going to let Tommy start because he's had a close encounter because he's seen one up close. I've been in them, but Tommy's seen them up close. Let's start with Tommy.
Mine all started when I was 6 years old, people. I was in the hospital with my brother. We were both having our tonsils taken out. There was three of us in the room. My brother was on the opposite side next to the window, and there was another person on the far corner, and I was on the opposite side. We were young. I was 6, he was 7. The boy was about 7 as well. And we were in cribs. They had to pull up side rails and everything. But I guess, and I hate to say it, I liked Bill Cosby way back then. He used to put out a comedian album every month. And one song was ice cream, we're going to get ice cream. And he was talking about ice cream when you get your tonsils out. So I believed that when I was in the hospital about ice cream and stuff. But if you have your tonsils out and throwing up blood, you don't want ice cream. But here's the thing. I'm in my crib talking to the kid on the other side, and my brother's in the far left side facing the window. He stands up and he's in the back of the crib screaming. He's calling me. He's going, Tommy, Tommy, Tommy. I was little. I jumped out of the crib, ran over, and this ship was like maybe 100 feet from the window, shooting this beam at my brother. So I jumped in front of the window and put my hands on the window, spread them out. Don't ask me why. And then the ship shot out into space. That was the first time I had that kind of an encounter. But the worst one happened. Well, I mean, that was bad. I mean, luckily my brother didn't get him.
Question for me, because I've seen it from my point of view. I want to see it from your point of view. Were you? Oh, you're obviously frightened and defending your brother. Were you scared of the light, or were you frightened of what it was going to do to your brother?
I was just afraid he was going to do something to me. I'm not afraid of things. So I was afraid what they could do to my brother. And that's why I jumped in front of the beam. I feel everything. I have to admit, in all my life, I ran from Mr. Bigfoot because I didn't have a camera on me. I didn't have nothing on me. It was the first time I walked away from the car without putting all our stuff on, our cameras and clubs and knives and everything. And I just went walking into the woods by myself. But it was in the back of me, breathing down my neck. And I kind of turned around, and it just raised its leg and stamped on a log and snapped it in half. I thought he was mad, so I started running. I don't have my camera on me. I'm running back to the truck, and there's a scientist and my ex-UFO partner, and I'm screaming, get the camera, get the camera. I thought sure he was going to be following me, but he didn't. But within a couple minutes after that, he was screaming for about 5 minutes. Every minute he would go. I would say a cross between a male child screaming and a wolf howling, put them together really loud. And it did it like every 30 seconds for about maybe 5 to 8 minutes. And then it went dead silence. And then all of a sudden, all the wolves on the island started howling. And we never heard, on where I was. And it was like we never heard a wolf in 6 years that we were there. And the scientist that was in the van looked like he was petrified. And my partner, I said, come on out, come on out. Because I don't deal with creatures, I only deal with aliens. I said, it's a freaking alien, come on out. After about 10 minutes, he finally stepped out. And that's when we heard all the wolves howling. But that was probably the only time I was really afraid. Not afraid. It was a cross between being afraid and not having a camera to film it. But now, the worst thing that I could say that made me change my reality in my life, I had my friend over for the first time. I never had friends over my house. And he was staying over my house. And we heard noise. I was living in a two-floor house in back of the main. There was houses in front of me. So all of a sudden, we hear all these banging and different things downstairs. So we both going down. I had a little flashlight. And all of a sudden, I see this being standing there in back of the stove. We went running back upstairs, and we grabbed a stick and a baseball bat. No lie. We went running back down. We were ready to beat it up. And all of a sudden, it goes walking through the door out of the house. And we're running upstairs to tell my mother. And she goes, one at a time. I don't believe you. I don't know what you're talking about. We had a cat, and the cat was laying right next to us. So she goes, oh, it was, oh, no, the cat's right here. She was going to say, oh, it was a cat or something else. So we go into the bedroom, we lay down, and we're looking out the window, and sure enough, the ship's sitting right there. And then all of a sudden, we see him get on, and then the ship took off. But I had to be maybe 25 feet from it. So, yeah, I saw a real ship. I saw a real alien.
A lot of people have actually said, I watched a thing about the Ural Mountains the other day, things like that. A lot of people actually said that they've seen lights in the skies and then they've seen like Bigfoot around. Perhaps they're studying Bigfoot. I don't know. Well, but a lot of tribes outside, like in the wilderness, like in the like deep mountains and in deep forests, have always said they've seen lights in the sky before they see a Yeti or a Bigfoot. It could be something that they're studying as well.
Well, I think it's a combination. They brought them here, first off. Now, the other thing is there's a new movie. It's on the internet, it's on TV, Bigfoot Capture. Somebody says it's half real and half not, but they actually capture a Bigfoot in this giant steel cage. All right, they sedate it. They go in and they take blood samples and they take hair samples, and then when they went back, somebody left the lock off the cage and it just got out of there. But they close up of the face, the hand, the body. It falls down after they shoot it with tranquilizers. Really mind-boggling. You should see it. But in the interim, it was throwing rocks at them and everything else, and they were going kind of, what are we going to do? It's here. Let's catch it. And this cage is outrageous because Bigfoot goes crazy when they get there and shaking these bars and stuff, really, like you'd think it would break or something. But it's interesting. Now, the other show that's on right now, In Search of Bigfoot, or whatever it is, it's on Wednesday night. They're getting close to filming a real Bigfoot. They're showing scenes
of an Australian series like that, and one in Australia.
Well, that's the one. Okay, yeah. But they're getting close. They will, I guarantee, they'll show a Bigfoot very soon because it's all around them. The skeletons there. They had found a piece of fur.
If you take a scientific view now, right? You live in an island on a mountainous region because it's a volcano. These things have been seen in the Ural Mountains, which is like high northern Russia. Always cold altitudes with deep woods, thick woods, or high up in the mountains where there is no people and with snow. Now, but I'm talking hundreds of thousands and millions of years ago when we had the land bridge, could be a crossover between giants and some giant mammal that is still living, because there's people nowadays still in the Amazon they've not even found, in pygmy tribes and animals we've never even seen before. There's still parts of this world that it's barely not been explored. There is a possibility that these things could exist and do exist still today in higher, deeper, darkest, and a distance away from society.
When I saw the Bigfoot, I was up in the mountain in New Jersey.
Yeah,
I wasn't in Hawaii. I also got fairly close to one and heard two of them screaming when I was in Oregon. All right. And it's mountain area where they were inside there. Yes, they need to hide. Obviously, if they were out in the open, they'd be snagged in a second. So they're intelligent. And people say, well, how intelligent are they? Well, super intelligent. Because
intelligent enough to stay away from man.
Exactly. But they do eat. They do eat people's cows and things like that as well. I know multiple stories. I only saw Bigfoot twice, but I work with a guy who actually spent 40 years dealing with Bigfoot. His wife, he married, also has experiences with Bigfoot. I brought him on my show, and I don't stick around Bigfoot too much, but it changes your life just to see something that nobody else believes is real. All right? And, I saw a Bigfoot. Oh, yeah, you did. You saw a deer. You saw a bear. And they try to cover it up. So, we're going to get into the stuff, but when I'm talking about alien creatures, alien beings, things like that, and what Tina went through, we'll get into that part a little bit after. I just want to say all the things after that. By the time I was 12, from then on, I was seeing ships all the time. I mean, close. I was driving on the highway. This ship that had the lights going around followed me for about 15 minutes. I was on Long Island. One ship followed me for a half hour. So I don't know what they want. I tried communicating with them, I said, let's talk this out, but they won't. But again, Tina's story is a lot different. But for me, my life changed. You can't be normal when you see things that nobody believes in or don't exist, aren't real. But I got into doing hypnosis when I was 14, but I was doing regression by the time I was 19, 20. People that have missing time, which we'll get into, and things like that. So I learned from myself, I learned from people that I work with, and I learned from many people that actually were abducted, lost their children, and things like that. I was involved with that for years. I mean, I wasn't doing it to make a book. I wasn't doing it to make money. I was doing it to try to help these women deal with losing their children. Because the government sure is not going to help you or care. And, well, Tina's story is 10 times worse. Not 10 times, but it's really bad. So now I'll give it back over to Tina now and let her start with her story. That's real.
See, so before we get to that, it's like I'd like to speak to my generation, say over 50s generation, because they have a wider experience with these things. You get people that just have a one-off experience, but which is really good because it gives you a different dimension and aspect when it comes to scientific research. These things should be documented, they should be researched and fully investigated. As much data should be collected, and not just to help the governments, but to help with people, the trauma of it, overcoming it. But as you get older, it has a more of a physical health knock-on effect. So nothing ever gets easier or more painless. The older you get, it tends to be the opposite. It gets more painful as you get older, and you seem to have more problems with it. So more research needs to be done to what could be put in place at an earlier stage, like just supposing one person next door neighbour come forward and said, I've been taken, I've recently been taken. Now, if that was the case, things should be in place ready to put a step forward, step in, have all the medical stuff done and see if there's anything they can put in place there and then, be retroactive, proactive, ready to step in and do something. Because within 5 or 10 years, that person is not going to be even physically well. Mentally it is a different thing. Everyone has a different coping mechanism. Some people just black out and get on with their lives. And sadly, that's been the case of most people here in the UK. But for me, I've had so many medical issues, especially recently as well, from this. But like Tommy said, everyone's story is different and everyone's account is different. I urge anyone that has been taken to come forward come into the show, call into the encounters, email Tommy. He's going to put his email address up in a minute, or petition your local government, petition your local parliament, petition your local MP, member of Congress, House, or whoever is, in charge of your local area. And they should have backups in place now. I'd like to hear what they said recently about the NASA's outcome for this, and to see what they have to say. We've heard the Congress hearing, probably going to have to wait another year about that, but we haven't had a follow-up on the questions that were answered from last time. As an abductee, you know my account, my story. You can get it online. If you get it Kindle Unlimited for free, you can get it on Kindle, and you can buy the book, page book, pick it up, take it with you like a magazine. It's £10. But it's not just the fact of coming to terms of it. It's coming out, it's talking to people about it. It's living with it day to day is a different issue. And people say, oh, do you believe? No, I don't believe. There's a difference between believing and knowing, and I know. So there's the difference. Belief is an act of faith. I've always said that. But for true abductees like me and Tommy, it does profoundly change your way of life. It affects your relationships with people, as he said, like women lose children, affects men, as well. But there are other sides and other aspects people don't realise. You just said that you come forward just because you want to you want to write a book. It's people who come forward want to raise awareness that this is going on and things should be put in place to help other humans. No human being on this earth should have to go through what I've been through or other abductees have been through. So, but you get help for everyone around the world except for abductees. Abductees don't have any recourse. I mean, I was like Tommy, I was taken from the age of 6. I've had experiments performed on me. So it's not a nice thing. Any enemy force, look at it from my point of view, an enemy force came unimpeded into our world, took a child under the guise of night. Now, is that a positive thing? That's a covert thing. That's not a knock your door, hi, I'm here, do you fancy a cup of tea kind of thing. So people say, oh, you're negative about it. It's really a positive experience. Is being taken away from your family and basically tortured a positive thing? No. So that's another aspect, another issues to deal with. So on top of coming forward, on top of your pain and everything else you're looking at. So it's not just about coming forward, like Tommy said. It's like, that's why I asked Tommy earlier, it's were you frightened for yourself, your brother, or what they were going to do to him? Now, children shouldn't have to feel that way. In this, children shouldn't have to be defending their brother in a hospital. That is not a malevolent act, is it? That's not someone with good intent is going to take a child from a hospital. It's not as if they intend to cure them, is it, and put it back? No, because they would have done it. They didn't. So people need to look at aspects of why people come forwards, and the bottom line is for help to stop this happening. Abductees are one of the smallest categories in the world that there is no recourse for. There is no recourse, there is no help, there is no medical help, and there is no one to turn to. You have to seek groups out, groups of people. You have to put your trust in people you don't know. He might not even want to listen to you. He might not want to go forward with your case. And then you've got to look at what ways can they actually help you in. So coming forward is a very big and very extremely difficult step. But so that's kind of where I stand. It's not about like my story. My story is what my account of that, and that is what's happened to me. I see other aspects I'm looking at now, and I'm angry, I'm upset. Why have I got to live my life in pain and suffering caused by another sentient being? They knew what they were doing to me when they took me. Seems that the intention they had when they took Tommy and his brother. So, Tommy, what would you say to that?
Well, I just want to throw this in because it just came up on my computer. It says, the healing powers of UFOs. All right. This person said 300 cases of ET healings. Well, let me say this before we go any further where we are. Aliens will do many things to win you over. All right. They'll do things. I mean, I did a conference with a person, famous person, who said he was working with the Nordics. And he said they saved them, they pulled them out of a car and everything else. I said, okay, what else did they do? He couldn't name one other thing. But see, when they win a person's confidence, then they could use them for anything they want and keep tabs on them. For them to say healing, oh, well, I got healed. I mean, it's like people in the old days when they all got healed by Jesus. Okay, he was a spiritual person. But aliens are not. They have no good intentions of being here. They're not saving mankind. They don't save children. They abduct them and abuse them and everything other under the sun. So when people put a book out like this, it just makes me mad because now they're trying to tell the world aliens are good, like Caroline Corey. Oh, cloning and all that's good.
The government has issued a statement. It was on Fox News Nation a while ago, last year, and from 2010, saying being in close proximity or being abducted by aliens or being near a UFO is not good for your health. It's biologically and chemically not good for your health. It causes cancer, it causes tumors, it causes obstructions in the brain, it causes deformities, radiation poisoning, and then a whole long list of other things it causes. So, and that's since 2010. And we're now 13 years later, and some idiots turn around and saying that. So I'd like to see the government report that just counteracts everything they've been saying for the last 70 years. And in fact, I think it's 1971, between 1970 and 1980, there was a nuclear treaty drawn up between Russia, America, and the United Kingdom that even mentioned UFOs. So they knew back then.
Well, you know, when Tina talks about what a person experiences, what I do as well, when I work with women and things, there is no reality to you anymore. What you perceive as normal reality changes. You're living in a totally different dimension than everybody else is living. Well, that's not real, but you live in that because you have experienced it and it stays in your mind and your consciousness. It doesn't disappear.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Whether you ever realize you get abducted again or not, but most of the time you will not remember. When I was working with people with missing time, all they know is they miss time, which is, I mean, some people know they get abducted, but then they still have missing time afterwards, like they don't know anything that went on. But I was in court with a real lawyer, judge, the whole thing, and the judge said, "Hey, I want you to come after everybody leaves." He tells me he's in the car driving down the road, and a light hit his car, and suddenly they were gone.
See, now, even a judge, a legal person in a system, knows there's recourse and would rather talk to somebody in the court to get it. Once you tell somebody you've seen something or you've heard something or you've seen something you can't explain, or someone that's going to sympathize with you, someone who's going to understand, someone you can turn to, even a judge, a fully grown, qualified man, a judge needs the reassurance or needs to tell, someone like me or Tommy. What does that tell you? When a judge can understand that there's no recourse and would rather speak to somebody, do you know what I mean? There's nothing in place, Tommy.
Well, let me say this. I have a friend that can't say anything about the person, but they have a class in Florida. 125 doctors and scientists meet twice a year, and they talk about how they deal with being abducted. All right. Each one has different experiences, but they still don't know why, how, or anything, and it affects them. And these are the top people. All right. It's not just somebody walking the street, has a simple life. These are top people working with people that have to deal with that in their inner consciousness in themselves, and face it when they go home and look in the mirror and things like that. It's so different and complex for those kind of people because they can't come out. They lose their career. They lose their job. Now, John Ford, everybody knows his story. If you don't, John, John, Ford, Ford, check his story. He's in the nut house since 1996 because he said what he did and what happened, and I saw his video, and they said he's crazy. All right, they said he had uranium. But when people that come out with the truth are not going to be accepted, and they're not. Sure, in a UFO world, you're accepted. But outside of that, you're not. Look at what's happening right now. In my life, I was active in the UFO community for over 25 years. I lost 16 of my best friends. The government actually said during that conference that we don't take people out. Oh, yes, they do. They don't personally because they don't know about it. But nobody in Congress knows much about MJ-12, which was created by Truman. I mean, they could go on and on and on, but they don't know what they really do.
Tommy, can you tell me what the because I'm sure NASA was supposed to have their report out last week, weren't they? But I haven't heard hide nor hair of NASA's report. They're supposed to be open to the public, wasn't it? It's supposed to be announced what their findings were.
Well, basically, it boiled down to it's not a real alien from another space. All right, they always counteract it with what they say it is, which is always a lie.
So NASA's come forward said aliens don't exist.
Basically, that's what they said, even though they said we're releasing documents on it, right? I mean, the Tic Tac, Luo Zondo is kind of responsible for it and stuff. Doesn't prove much except a spot going around. Every pilot came out that had an experience. All these people in the Army everywhere are coming out and saying what they experienced. I was dealing with that when I was active in the UFO world lecturing. And basically, we lectured for the Thunderbirds. It's a group of people that own their own planes, and they meet twice a year, and they have a big party and everything else. We lectured for them. After we lectured, out of 250 people, it's about 11 o'clock at night, and over 50 people in a line waiting to tell us their story. They had no other place to release it. It's sad when you can't tell the truth. We can't say the truth. We can't talk about what we feel. We're prejudiced with this, that, and everything. If we don't say what they want us to say, we're in trouble. I mean, it's bad here, but in other countries, it's 10 times worse. So even in Tibet, they were killing llamas because they had the word Dalai Lama. If they had his picture up, they would kill him, burn down his house. Oh, it's such a weird place we're in, and people think we're free. We think we're this, we're that. Aliens are in control, whether people want to see it or not, because they're not in trouble. They do what they want still. They have bases, and see, people, I've been in this all my life. They have alien bases next to basically, I'd say 80% of every army base on the planet is an alien base. I was next to two personally. All right. A friend of mine, John Edmond, he was killed about a year and a half ago. He had a piece of property like the Skinwalker Ranch, but a lot more stuff was going on there. We filmed aliens there. We filmed all kinds of weird stuff. But again, it was only about half a mile from an alien base. At nighttime, you'd see every kind of weird shit going up and down into the ground. I mean, I thought it was a real base, and he took me there the next day, and it's just a mountain. Nothing there. I thought, well, where's the base? Well, this is it. Well, I thought he meant a real base that you could see. Everything's underground. And they don't go through a hole, which I want to get in touch with the Skinwalker Ranch people, because they don't realize there is a ship there. And if they pull it out, the government won't let them do it. But they don't make a hole when they go into the ground. They go through the ground. They go through water. I mean, their ships are incredible. There's videos of ships going into the sun. So, where are we with our awareness? People in the UFO world have very little awareness in the UFO world. I know, Tina, you're friends with a lot of them. Listen to this. I just want to throw this in. I put $1,000 on a hotel reservation in Vegas. Okay, it's the Luxor. Wow. All right. They're having the biggest conference there in November. Every UFO person's going to be there. And I wanted to speak. Obviously, they won't let me.
I'm not going to be there. I've got a broken foot.
Well, here's the thing. I registered to volunteer. All right. And then I was going to be able to get in for the conference, but not paying for it. Not that I cared about paying for the conference. I wanted to go there and debate all these people that I want to debate that are afraid to call me. I said, is it worth my energy to put $2,000 out there to talk to a bunch of people that don't care what I say? I said, no, and I canceled the ticket yesterday. I get a full refund and everything. But the hotel's full. They had like 3 rooms left. So there's going to be thousands of people going to this conference. spending $350 to get in, to listen to these people go on and on. Everybody's there. Channelers and you name it. That guy that channels that one alien being who I think's another fraud. But
can you send me the information on that? Can you just send me a link to that later?
I'll send it to you. You know, you might want to go. If you got money, you can go.
Oh, I can't. I can't fly at the moment. But yeah, I'd just like to know the information. I'd like to have a look.
But again, it's got every speaker there, everyone that I would love to talk to, everybody, you name it. There's 50 speakers.
Wow.
I mean, they have more coming even, but I couldn't get on that list. Every UFO person hates me. But I wrote a lot of letters to everybody that's going. That's one of the speakers already. I said, you know, I was going to pay money to come to talk to you because you've got no balls to talk to me directly. So I've been writing letters. I will write letters to 90% of those people going, and the workshops they're going to be doing and all that stuff. But I decided, 2 people said, why do you want to spend that money to do this for? You know, they're not going to listen. And I realized when I was out lecturing from 96 to 2002 with Sergeant 18, the people that came to our conference listened and saw pictures of UFOs and everything because we showed them. But outside of that, it didn't go very far. We lectured in about 6 different places in the United States and at the conference, but you know, it didn't go further than that. And when the person that ran it died, it completely died out. It was called, I mean, this was from 96 to 2002. It was Global Science.
I noticed there's only there seems to be lots of older people rather than the younger people. I'm not sure if the younger people realise the implications of what's come into them. But I hardly see any young people, I'd call young people, to take these events anymore.
You know, that's true. And I didn't even think about that. Because, you know, young people have so much going on. They're not dead set, oh, UFO. They don't care. Oh, UFO, so what? I mean, in Hawaii, where I live, I'd say 2 out of 10 people saw a UFO. 1 out of maybe 25 saw an alien. So it's not like a big thing for the younger generation here in Hawaii, because the homeless people live on the beach and they see them all the time. The ships going into the ocean and everything. But it's not big. It doesn't make, well, they're not excited about it. I mean, if I say, oh yeah, I just saw one last week. I was walking my dog last week and this guy was working on this box outside. I said, you okay? I said, you don't mind if I shoot UFOs from here because I want to shine lights? He goes, no problem. But he goes, you know, and I told him I see UFOs. He goes, oh, guess what? Our whole family was standing out looking at the ocean a couple of days ago, and the ship stayed right over for about maybe an hour and a half, and it was going back and forth, and then it shot out into space. I mean, you could talk to 1 out of 10 people, and they'll tell their story right away. But it's not important to them. They're not going to go out and write a book about it. They're not going to brag about it. They're not going to go to court the president, the town, the state. They don't care. It's just, okay, it's just another event in their life. It doesn't change their life. Not like Tina, not like I. I mean, we went through garbage and things and saw things. I mean, Tina's going to get inside the ship, which I have not been. I know they won't invite me in, and they don't want to.
They didn't invite me in. I didn't have a choice.
No, I offer. I say, look.
Make that clear. I was not invited in.
What I say to them all the time, I said, look, give me something, I'll give you something. Let's make a deal. I said, you can't have anything unless you give me something. So, but they won't take me up on that. But in the interim, I'll let Tina get into that part later. But we have this thing where people can't say what they see. They have a real job. They work for a group of people that are respected and stuff, and they can't come out and say, I saw an alien come in my house yesterday. Really? Let's send you to the doctor tomorrow. Take a week off. Take the month off. So it's still not accepted. I mean, I got a manual that tells you how to see a UFO. I promise you, if you can see the sky for a whole week, I guarantee you will see a UFO. That's 100% guarantee. If you follow what I say in the book manual, it's free. Just text me. But again, you've got to put time out there, and you will see one. But sometimes they get closer, and they get closer, and suddenly you're gone. I mean, New York State, which was Pine Bush, New York, there people lined up on the road blocks long, drinking and waiting for the ships to come down and see them and all that. they finally closed it off so that people couldn't get on the road anymore. But there was an army base, an alien base right near it. There was also an army base right near it. So, people, they were all older people, like you said. Young people don't want to spend their time looking at a UFO. They'd rather be out drinking and partying and jumping off
Good
a cliff.
evening, John. Sorry, Tommy. Good evening, John. Nice to see you. But late in. Hope you're okay. Yes, I had my hair chopped today. A little trip to the hospital today, so I thought, have a little, get my hair chopped off and what have you.
Everybody out there, what are we going to do with Tina? She's hurt, always hurt. We got to keep her safe somehow.
I've got this huge boot on my foot. It's like a walking cast, and my foot's not healing. And I got to have 4,000 units of this vitamin D every day for the next 6 weeks.
There's nothing else they can do for you, is there?
No, they said the bone's got to start healing before they can put the pins in. Otherwise, and the break is right on where the blood supply is. So we've got to be really careful. It's got to show signs of healing. So I've got to wait 6 weeks and go back and have another 3 X-rays. So
I don't want to change places that you ever. I mean, I got enough pain in my life.
It's very painful. People don't realise it wakes me up in the night. This boot is so painful. My leg, it pulls the top of my leg. I've only had it on a few hours. I'm like, oh my God, already. But yeah, it is like, just so people still know, I wake up with a ruptured eardrum and a perforated eardrum. So this one's ruptured. This one's perforated. I can't hear a thing at this one. It's hurting my jaw. I'm having jaw physio as well. I'm having 10 weeks of that. I'm like the second weekend of that.
Before we let Tina explain insider shit, I just want to say I'm dealing with so many people in the UFO world. I listen to what they say. They're I hate to use the word ignorant to what's really happening. They'll go on about something stupid, bring something else into it that doesn't belong in the conversation. One of the speakers at the conference, I just sent them a big long letter. I said, do you understand anything? You talk a great story about what? Somebody's story, but you don't know anything about an alien, don't know anything about what happens or what they can do to you. And this guy writing a book, well, they heal people. Oh, well, if they want to win you over, what if you want, just another thing, if an entity comes to you, what are they going to come to you as? A dragon? You think they're going to come to you as Mr. Decrepit? They're going to come to you like a nice-looking guy, like the Nordic people do. They're aliens, people. They're not good. They brainwash you completely. Ask anybody that works within that Nordic. Oh, they're good. They're good. It's pure white robes and blue eyes, blonde hair, and 8 feet tall. So, they're beautiful beings. No, they're not. They travel on the ships with reptilians, people. So, I can go on about that. But, people, we want great things. Everybody wants good things in their life. But it's not happening. Look at what's happening to the world right now. We're in the worst ever conditions that we have ever been in. The earthquake chart's going crazy every day. The volcano here just went off 2 days ago. So who knows how bad it's going to get. It could start flooding out half of the island. It could do a lot of things. But with the vibration, and pull up the ring of fire, look what's going on there. And then we got the government playing with directed energy beams and all that kind of stuff. We're screwing our own planet up. Everybody says, oh, no, it's nature. No, it's not. Nature created this planet for us to grow, not retarded, or become sick or whatever, to become good spiritual people, which we're not. And the problem is we don't respect each other. Aliens don't want respect. They want control. They come down here, respect me. No, they say, you're going to do what I tell you to do. I'm going to program you. All these experiences coming up. Oh, yeah, they took me out to dinner. They took me to another country, world, universe.
Oh, God. I hate that word.
I hate it to a max.
And there's so many, the true concept of abduction.
I was with two people that created the conferences here to have experiences, to have special meetings for experiences. And the one of them says, I want to introduce you to the green flatheads. I went after her and the conference, the person that ran the conference, and said, you can't let that go down. And they changed it to people that were abducted have a meeting, and half of the people didn't go to any of them. But when people come out, oh, it's a good thing? Really, like this guy? Getting healing usually doesn't mean it's a good thing. I don't want to get into religious, spiritual sides of that. But we're here to serve out what we have to serve out. and some guy or woman can't come along and take it away from me. Oh, you're healed. You're going to be like, heal me so I don't die. Okay, that's all you got to heal. I mean, they use your energy, make you believe what you want, and then you create it in your own life. But an abduction is an invasion of your personal space. It's an invasion of your consciousness. It's an invasion at every level. Oh no, we'll work with them. They'll help us. Help us what? We make more toys that destroy everything. We don't make anything better.
What help do they need from us apart from stealing our DNA?
And food and blood, and they need our little children. I mean, it's sad, people, but you don't want the truth. You want to believe the good alien. Oh, there's good and bad in everything. Yeah, look at planet Earth. Name one spiritual person on this planet that's changing reality. None of them. I mean, now bad people, we can name a trillion, right? It doesn't stop the list. You know, I'm gonna let it. It's that time, but I want you to get into your conversation about the ship and everything first, all right?
Well, being on it or being near one, what would you like?
Well, you can tell what it looks like and what it is inside a real ship.
Okay, so people, excuse me, it's so hot here in the UK at the moment. So inside of a ship is each ship has a different frequency inside it, and they subdue humans through a frequency of light and a pheromone. When you're on board a ship, they have a thing, like, best way I can describe it is like Wi-Fi, and it's like a grey link, like a mist within your head, and it's like a slightly different mist or flavour, what have you, in your head in each different ship. Normally you can't move. I've only walked around a few times, and that's been over the span of my life, really, over 50 years. They could take you places in bubbles. Sounds weird, but they put you in a bubble to take you places, to show you things from the past, things that's going to happen in the future, take you different places. They put you into a bubble. And it's not what you think it is. Being inside one of these ships, you don't really know where you are. You can just see this either a bright white light or this orange light above you. Or if it's in your room, it's like a bluey green light. They come through the floor, the walls, wherever they come into your domain. It's not what people expect, and it's terrifying. If you think even now as an adult, people that really annoy me say that, oh, I'd love to be abducted. You're crazy. You need psychiatric help when people say things like that. When these beings, and they're taking children, they're taking like me and Tommy and many, many other people from a child. Not conditioning us, but I think they're just, I do think a lot of people scientifically say that they follow bloodlines. I think that's true. But being on board a ship, I've seen hundreds of people up there. I'm not the only one. I've seen many different things in my lifetime, over the course of a lifetime. So I know I'm not the only one. I've seen hundreds of people up there. I've seen a few different species up there, but I don't know why they call them grey, because they were glowing white. I'm not sure if that's because of the lighting situation we were in. Because when they were at distance and they're far away and the light is on you, they do look black. But that's because it's the bright white light. I'm not sure what else really to tell you, and that's probably about it. It's nothing great. You can't, unless you're given permission and you've got to tell them you behave. They don't let you get up. It's only when they want to test you or do an experiment on you. It's not it's not for your comfort. Nothing is ever done for your comfort. It's something that whatever they want to get on with next, and that's kind of it, basically. Yeah, it's surreal. And that's really all I can say about that, Tommy.
How many people were on the ship that you were on that you saw?
God, well, the one time I was up there with, when I was on that travelator thing, I saw hundreds of people. I went to bed as normal, woke up. I didn't really wake up. It come around and it was bright white light. It was so intense, and I couldn't tell it was coming from. It was just right in front of me, and it was just like blinding me, and I couldn't look away. My eyes were like open, and it was just like watching a film. You just taking it in, you can't blink or move. And I think I moved sideways at first, and I wasn't sure. And I'm not sure how long later again. Then it happened again, and I realised I was moving to the left slightly. And then another couple of minutes passed. If there were minutes or seconds, I really couldn't tell you. And I moved again. And as I moved again, I wasn't in a bright white light, and you could see everything that kind of looked black. And then when I moved again, you could see like this, like a huge, like a, what do they call it? Like a huge like searchlight with a black box in it, but they were like staging. It looked like staging behind them, like scaffolding. But it wasn't. And there was like three or four levels of them, and they was on there behind it. And as it moved, I was at the front. I couldn't see that I was off the floor because the light was still bright. It wasn't until I moved again I realised I was probably about 12, 14 feet, maybe a bit more, I don't know, off the floor. And then it wasn't until this thing turned slightly to the left, and everything or everyone on it, I didn't realise there was someone next. Didn't even realise I was hung up. I didn't even realise there was other people up there until we turned. And then, so your eyes turn on this thing, the pole you were over on, whatever it was, turned. And that's when I saw this bloke next to me. If I could have reached out, I probably grabbed him. There was hundreds of them up there, hundreds of people. Their eyes were awake, open, like mine, but they looked awake but asleep. But they could have been like me, unable to move and been awake. They might have seen me, I don't know. And then that's when I realised they could see all the men and women. It wasn't until I moved down that it came out like an S-bit like that. And when it moved back like that, that's when I just had it. It was within my view. And then that's when I saw the other people. There was more people that way, but there's more people that way. I was like on a long chain of them. And I'll call it the travelator. And so there was hundreds of people up there that I've seen that time. And that's the only time I think I really see other people. I haven't seen other humans until the time they took me and my mum together. But that was the only time like I'm actually up there. That's quite see, when I say scary in that, but when you're taking or numb inside, you can't really think. It's like you can just press play on a film, and you're watching a film. You're watching everything going on, and you're just taking it in. It's like you're recording it, but you can't act on it. So yeah, that's exactly what it's like being taken and being on board a ship. The frequency thing is it's different on every ship. Sometimes they allow you. Yeah, I've nearly finished. Sometimes they allow you to get up and walk about. The frequency is different when you get used to it. And there's lots of like questions and things and that going on. There's so much more to it. But again, it's like watching a film. You can't say, oh, this, and this. You have to go through the whole film to realise, what's happened. You don't get a chance to sit there and think, because it's right in front of you, it's happening in real time in front of you. And that's probably about it. Any other questions? John, Tommy?
No, I guess it's that.
Oh, he'd be back on in a sec. Oh, there you go.
Okay, where is mine? I just took it out.
Oh, I'm going to get mine now. Yeah, didn't want that to happen. Okay. Right. So me and Tommy, my hair, I just dropped it on the floor. Me and Tommy have the same ones of these. It's called an electrical magnetic radiation tester. I got mine from Amazon. Tommy's got the identical one. Just push it on there. There is the back. So it shows you. There you go. And you can get it on Amazon. It was about £18. Now, this last few weeks, oh, there you go. Last few weeks, this has been having a reading near my computer, and it hasn't before. Normally, the top one doesn't go off. So the top one is actually volts per meter, as you can see there, and the bottom one is microteslas, as you can see there. Now, it doesn't go off. Tommy's goes off because he doesn't have a smart screen like TV, computer screen. I do, so it shouldn't be going off. I'm not quite sure why it's going off. I'm going to put it now, Tommy, close to my head. So the closer I get, the higher the number goes. And there you go. That's how, there you go, Tommy. So that is a high reading. And when it's beeping red, it says harmful.
So how bad is it right now, Tina? I can't read it.
Hold on. One, I can't look at what. That's 0 point. That was 1 point. That's 2. And then let's go this side.
Wow, I got the highest reading on the top of mine ever. It's up to 400.
So I want to take it away. It goes down. I want to put it near me.
Oh, I'm using my laptop. It's twice as much electromagnetic field in my computer.
That's not good.
No, I just realized it. I said it's 400. I said mine was never that high.
No, it stopped beeping. How is that possible that it stops beeping?
Well, that's not good.
That's not good. So there you go, guys. So each week me and Tommy get this out. Tommy told me to get this. I thought he was joking, but he was actually.
No, I was serious.
Tommy was all the money. He's serious with this. So there you go. There's that. So guys, get one. Test yourself. I'm just going to charge mine off. Now, while you're here, I have some news from Amazon.
Okay, cool. How'd you book it?
Wow, a few months ago, weeks. June, July time, August. I released my book. This one's here. It's my third book. It's called The Bonded: The Truth About Alien Abduction. It's got my logo on the back. Phoenix tells you there's my IBSN number there, and there's my lovely book. Okay, it's £10 on Amazon for an Amazon Kindle Unlimited. You can buy this one. It's £10, and you can buy this one, The Guardians of Light and The Brotherhood of the Night. Fantastic fantasy book, really good read. Read that, guys. Both £10 each. Now, Amazon sent me an email saying, Tina, we've seen that you produced another book, and it's actually a qualifying book for Amazon Kindle storytelling. Really? Would you like to enter? They asked me to enter, so I thought, okay, I'd enter it. And they said it's a qualifying book. Please enter. So I entered it thinking, I'm never going to get anywhere. There's millions of people that must be doing this. And she said it ends on the end of last day of August. And so I said, okay, then what we do, we shortlist people. So once the qualifying people go through, probably that million, I'm not sure how many it actually was, but you can imagine, I didn't even know that Amazon Storytelling Kindle was actually doing that. And then I get a email yesterday or the day before saying, I have actually qualified to go through to be shortlisted. This is going to happen on the 27th of this month. If I am one of the, only it's down to, when I say shortlisted, I mean the top 5, because the top 5 winners will win a Amazon Kindle Oasis. And if you're lucky enough to be an Amazon winner, not only will you get that, you'll get the £20,000 prize money and a bespoke marketing package with Amazon books. So not only have I made it through the first round, I've made it through down to be shortlisted. So if I've been shortlisted and I'm one of the top 5, then I'm looking forward to get my own. But I doubt it very much. But you never know. I'm so proud of myself. So I got that news 2 days ago. But guys, I do have another book. It's called The Checkpoint. You can buy that. That's a bit of a saucy book. You can also read that for free for Kindle Unlimited. But yeah, so hopefully I might win an award with Kindle. You never know.
Congratulations, Tina. I hope you do.
It's this book here, £10 Amazon, guys. Get it where you can.
It took you so long to get it out. I mean, and so hard.
It's my story, guys. Get it out. I'll get it out. There you go. So please buy that. It tells you it's got my investigative statement on. It's got an opening statement about it all, and it goes through it another little bit at the end. And I thank you very much, John. John, please go out and buy my book. Even if you want to get it free, you can read it on Amazon on Kindle Unlimited. You can buy it on Kindle, and if you want a proper book, if you get it, let me know, and I can send a little card, like an author's card, something like this one. And it's got my other book on the back. Let me know which one you get, and I'll sign it and send it to you. There you go. But from me, Tina Bird, anything else to me till next week?
No, Tina, but stay safe. Get better. Start getting a little bit better than you are. Your body's deteriorating rapidly.
It's hurting a lot as well. It's very painful.
I'm sure, Tina.
But
Well,
thank you, guys. Thank you for keeping with me. John, thanks for coming on, guys. It's nice to have someone following us. Tommy, as always, it's been great. You've been great, gentlemen. And I shall see you both next week. Thank you very much. Speak to you later, guys. Bye-bye. I'm Tina Bird here in Southampton from the UK for Encounters. Bye-bye.
All right, people. Tina Bird, great person, but she suffers more than most people outside of her own problems. I mean, it's affected by aliens that did a number on her body. It's sad. She's doing good, publicly wise. I knew she'd get famous, and that's why I keep promoting her. She needs to be, because people in the UFO world are watering down and taking away the idea of abductees. It is the only thing important about aliens and UFOs, people, not what the government is doing with them. I'm going to go, Tina, I don't know how much Tina would want to get involved with this anyway. That's why let me wait till she left. Now, out of all the speakers out there, 90% of them have to talk about what they think the government did or is doing, try to get whistleblowers to confirm and say that. But here's the thing, people. I've been in this all my life. I know the good, the bad, and the worst about aliens and abduction and the government. I lost 16 of my best friends or close friends that were involved in the UFO world. One of my friends worked for NASA. His whole family disappeared 2 days after we met. All right. His kids were out of school and everything, and I never heard from him again. And they left his phone on for almost 2 years. I kept calling it, saying, let him go, let him go. You have no right taking him. I never heard or anything again about that. But Sergeant 18, who I worked with for 6 years during the UFO world, lecturing around the United States, well, kind of feel he's not saying what really happened, but he sold out to the government, got lots of money, and now he's claiming he's an angel. So, people, what we didn't get into is what happens to the people after they get abducted. I'm not going to go into Sergeant too much, but basically, he was in New Jersey, and a ship crashed down where he was, and he went running towards it, and the ship took off. But in the interim, he claims he was captain of a ship. That's why he was Sergeant 18, the 18th captain of a UFO. I'm not going to go into that whole story, but we had a fight. We did Kerry Cassidy for 9 months, showing pictures of UFOs every week. 5 new pictures of ships that we personally shot, not other people's stuff. And then we had a big fight at the end because of one person that I was friends with that he didn't like. And most people don't like him because they don't know the truth. He was in jail for a couple years, framed with 150 false charges. He was a sovereign citizen and couldn't defend himself. So what they did to him in jail was incredibly insane, inhumane, and every other word you want to use. But he's dying, and they had to let him out. So he's in the hospital dying right now. Sorry, people. Sean David Martin, incredible person, was, and hanging in there barely. So, but in the interim, a lot of things went down. He discovered Area 51. He took people out there to see the mothership land, come in there every other Thursday. He would rent a van and take 6 people up there. And that was before they bought all the land around it. All these people claiming this about Area 51 and that. It was a base for alien ships to come and work with the government. So, is it helping you and me? No. when all these UFO people go on and on, all right, and they talk about this, that, and the other thing, they're always going after Project Blue Book, Pegasus, and all these code names for the projects that the government did. Well, how much proof did they got involved with that? And what are they going to prove? That aliens work with the government work with aliens. So what? That's what they're getting paid to do right now, people. That's what the rich people pay to protect themselves. That's why there's underground cities, people. Nobody talks about that. No, nobody. Jesse Ventura was the only person coming out and exposing it on TV. And then he took his show off the air. And a friend of mine, Fred Bell, was on his show. And he talked, well, aren't you afraid the government's going to come after you? He asked Fred. Fred goes, no, I work for the government. He goes, what about me? He goes, well, you're so high up, they can't come after you. They do remove people, even though they in court and UFO comment. We don't take people out. Not them personally. But again, nobody knows much about MJ12. I probably know more than most people because I was friends with one of them. But he's dead. I can't even go what was going to happen, what he promised us, and all these things. But people, we're at a serious time. Look what the man is doing to their own planet. We don't need aliens. They're not going to help us. They gave us the weapons. Tesla, people, and I can go into a whole workshop about this, or a whole lecture. Tesla worked with an alien race. They gave him 200 inventions, 50 of the most deadliest weapons, which Tesla gave to the United States government. And they are the worst dangerous weapons. One of them, which has screwed up the human race, the planet, and everything else, is called time travel. Yes, we do go back and forth in time. We did for a long time. Al Bielek and Preston Nichols were involved with the book, one book coming out, and then Peter Moon got involved. But they don't know that. I'm talking Al Bielek, all right, the one that actually went back in time. Preston Nichols just got involved with the story. But he got involved with the story of Montauk, which actually became what happened after the Philadelphia experiment happened. But Peter Moon got involved. Who knows how? He was friends with him and helped him do his book and stuff like that. But they don't know what really went down. They don't know nothing about the chair. They haven't sat in it or know anybody directly that sat in the chair. I do. I actually saw Bigfoot the day that I saw the Hershey monkey, which the Montauk Project talked about, and got involved with where Tesla worked with DuPont. Tesla was working with DuPont in the underground base in New Jersey. I can go into multiple details. They flooded the city, all right, the whole city. I mean, they made people leave and everything, and then they flooded it. And then the place where supposedly they were mining, you can pull it up online in the 1900s, about Wanacue, New Jersey. And these trains were supposed to be bringing in metal and things like that. But if you go where it actually is, which is two mountains like this, and its distance between it isn't very big, but there's this giant steel plate in the mountain on the one side and steel bars on the mountain on the other side. So Joe and I tried to get inside the one with the bars, tried everything to cut those bars, nothing did. And he was working with entities, deity, and all that kind of stuff, but he was told that we had to get inside there, which we never could. But we saw incredible, crazy things going on all the time when we were up there. We filmed all our UFOs, aliens, and everything up there as well. All right, it's a hardcore place, and the signs around it in Wanacue say, if you are caught in this property, you will be shot. And it's all around on the steel bars around the property. But we got in there every other night, spent 4 hours inside there filming. When we first started, we were using a real camera, and we shot maybe like 3 rolls of film, which was a fortune to develop every week. And then I switched over to a digital camera, and then we started using digital cameras. Saved a lot of money, except then digital cameras would burn out batteries like really fast. Rechargeable batteries don't keep it charged long enough, but we were always spending all kinds of money. But we had more shots and pictures of UFOs and entities and creatures and orbs and all those other things than anybody else from 1996. All right, we went public. We showed everything. We ended up doing a show called Strange Universe, 1996. All right, they blocked everything I said out of the show. They showed me the beginning and the end, but everything I said they cut out. They showed him showing a video of a ship stop and shoot ships out and then take it off in space. But the week after, the show was taken off the air. John Ford was arrested, put in jail. And it's also the time frame when Phil Snyder was taken out. And that's the second most important UFO story out there. And nobody talks about that either. You know, they want to brainwash people. And I'm not going to say who's cloned and who's not, but people want to tell the world that aliens are good. Like I said, I wanted to go to this conference in November, but I can't spend all that money. I don't have it to spend just to talk to a few people that are ignorant in the UFO world and famous. I mean, I write them letters every day, emails. Only one blocked me. No, two. Tom DeLong blocked me, and so did the UFO guy from Hawaii. Well, outside of that, I haven't been blocked yet with anybody else, and I write them letters every day, every other day, challenging, telling them, trying to tell them, you want to hear the truth? Talk to me. Online, offline, on a show, any way you want to do it. Not one of them get back to me, except I can't say his name because I want to make sure he comes on, and I'm going to say his name when he's ready to come on. The most famous UFO speaker. I was blown away when he finally said, yeah, I'll come on. I got to talk about certain. I don't care what you talk about. I want you to come on. So we'll see. I mean, I have my doubts about him. I have my doubts on all of them because they're all not doing or saying or bringing out what they should be. What the government does with aliens is based on protection for the United States and the world. The rich people want to live. They don't want to die. So they built them these underground cities so when the wars start happening, they got a place to go and hang out and stay and live. But they needed weapons. And who did they get them from? 3 different races. All trade and barter. And it took a while before the United States realized Greys weren't going to work with us in any good way. Truman knew that. That's why he created MJ-12. But we traded humans for weapons. Well, not me. Mr. Truman did. Realize, 1952, the year I was born, ships went over the White House, fleets of them, and they couldn't do a thing about it. Eisenhower had to take over from where Truman left it. I mean, I had Laura Eisenhower on my show, and we had about 12,000 people, but she wouldn't say anything. She agreed with everything I said I want to bring you on my show. I watched her show for a couple of times after that and realized she's a love and light person, believing in fairy tales and stuff like that. So I decided I didn't want to be part of that. But she's going to be at this conference as well. So I'd like to meet her in person and talk to her if she wants a little bit of truth, which she doesn't have. I mean, her mother claimed to be majestic and never taught her daughter anything important. I mean, Laura said she went to the Mars with the president. Really? And what? So people, who do you listen to? Who do you want to listen to? All these people making tons of money? You know, when you go to this conference, those top speakers get paid a fortune. And on top of that, they speak for what, 2 hours at max? I do my show free for anybody every week. Got questions, put them in there. I could talk about the wars we had in space. We had 3 major wars in space, and nobody in the UFO world talks about that either. The government takes out people. Why ain't they taken out? Who knows? I don't know. I know when as it saw jail, he got some kind of protection from the government. But I guess in the end, he sold out to him. For me, I won't sell out. I'll die. Take me out. You want to talk about the truth? I'll tell you. I said if the government wants any more facts than they get from these stupid people, interview me. Talk to me. Let me stay with you for a couple of days. I'll give you information that Thor, the Valiant Thor who went into the White House, gave them. The alien interrogation. Watch it. Watch what that alien says. Realize it's coming from another person, entity, believing what he thinks is real or true. Just like Christians and Muslims, and they all believe their stories, which they are. Now, I do a couple of spiritual shows as well. And there's things soul, meaning you, as what you really are, need to learn on this planet. Not about buying houses, buying cars, having 10 kids, and all that stuff. That's all created by Satan, the demon, the dark side, dragon, whatever you want to call it. All right, to keep you here. This is hell. This is created for a reason. Soul has to grow to get out of it, or it'll reincarnate over and over here. Whether you believe in reincarnation or not, that's your problem. It's real. You don't die. Soul doesn't die. But you will reincarnate back here many times. And thinking that aliens have anything to do with that, or even deities, going to change any of that? No. If you don't become aware of the things you need to as a soul, you can't go nowhere further. You don't take a child from kindergarten and put them in college. All right? So are you ready for the truth? I do nothing else than put the truth out there in any way I can, the best I can. I would love to challenge these people like Caroline Corey. And I was paying for I paid for the Skinwalker Ranch. I still am. But all these other people, I stopped. I mean, I write them letters. They don't get back to me. I've been trying to get in touch with her 22 years. She won't reply to me. But she walks around claiming she has no ego. She has no karma. She came to Hawaii, and all the people hate her here now. She's begging people to donate money. She donated $5 million with The Rock. And Basil, whatever, donated $100 million. He owns 78 acres there as well. Oprah owns a house on top of the mountain that goes across the island. She's right near the army base where FEMA is, where the HARP system is. So, it's sad. Give me 1 second. This guy's bugging me. So, I don't know how much longer I'm going to go, but people, like I said, I would have did anything to go to this conference, but that kind of money, when I have other things that I have to take care of right now, that'd be at least $2,000. I got something even better that I can spend that money on, which I might do. Meet with a person. I'm not going to go into the whole story, but a person I would really love to be with for a couple of days. That I like, I'm friends with, and everything else that has something to teach me. All right. It's up to you people. You want to hear lies, stories, spend your money. Those people can spend anywhere from $2,000 to $3,000 at least to go to a conference for 3 days to hear great stories that are not going to help them in life. Not. Caroline Corey's movies are out there. Are they helping anybody? She claims she could levitate a piece of paper and she could change people's DNA. I learned how to change DNA 30 years ago. But that's not anything really important or real. DNA is, they only deal with 12 strands of DNA, and it's not really important as well. I mean, the basic DNA is 32, and they're not even there yet. But changing it? Oh, aliens can change us. And we have been the same for over 100,000 years, people. We didn't grow bigger ears, a bigger brain, bigger anything else as well. No, we did not. So change, evolution is a lie. We haven't been created out of evolution, people. And some people still believe that. We were brought here. There's only 4 races here now. There were 9. We got the red, black, yellow, and white. All right. The other races left. But we didn't change. We're mixing with each other, changing the black and red and all that genes and stuff. But it's not making us change, growing an extra wing or feathers or anything like that, claws, more arms or legs or any of that. So all the stories that the Anunnaki created us is one of the biggest lies that Mr. Zachariah Sitchin brought out and made people believe it. Many people in the UFO world believe him. I was the 2 people. I did a show with T.J. Morris for almost 12 years. Her other co-host, or whatever you want to call her, was married to another person, and all they talked about was the Anunnaki. He lectures all over the world about the Anunnaki, which is another lie. Everything about it. Just because it's written down doesn't mean it's real. And now I just heard somebody talk about the Anunnaki and all that, the good race. No, they're not. They haven't helped man move forward in any way in 100,000 years. We're evil. We're more evil than we ever were. In Atlantis, we weren't evil. We were spiritual beings at that time. Alien races didn't like that. Well, I'm not going to go too much further, but the UFO world, the speakers, all they can talk about is the government. Somebody just mentioned about, was it Musk or somebody saying how many people disappear in the parks? Yes, thousands and thousands of people disappear in the parks. All right, and the parks don't even have to mention it. If I was going to the park, there should be a sign there saying, 2,000 people disappeared in the past 2 years, unknown. All right, at least give a person that's going there an awareness that exists, that it's real. That's not somebody making, people disappear. No, people don't just disappear. Something takes them. The car's right there. There's a cliff right there. No skeletons on the bottom. A family turns around and the child just disappeared. And there's no possible where they could have disappeared to. The stories are incredible. There's a couple books out there. You should read them if you don't believe it. But again, people, you want to believe good aliens are coming here. They're going to help us. The native people dealt with the star beings. They were the Greys people. The Greys never helped the native people. Ever. I danced all over the United States. I got to be with so many different medicine men, elders, and try to reprogram them because they're stuck in the program. The star beings help us. Really? Oh, Bigfoot helps us. Really? How? When people say they help us, like all these Christians, I was baptized as a Protestant at 14. But the delusion and the illusions are stuck in there about what happens and what's going to happen, how you're protected and all that. No minister, pastor, rabbi, any of them can tell you what God looks like, what God is, or what God wants. They can tell you and brainwash you, God loves you. Really? And what's that mean? I'm allowed to get raped, allowed to get shot, allowed to get run over and all that? That's true love? Really? People, man doesn't understand what protection means when God says he'll protect all souls. And they will be eternal. But they have to unfold. They can't bring them into a spiritual realm when they're ignorant, unaware of what's really going on, what happened, and what they were holding on to. Holding on to anything on this planet. Food, cars, the ocean, trees, your family, your kids. You're going to be with them a maximum of 125 years. And you're going to leave them. You might leave them with some money, maybe not. You can't take them with you. You're not going to travel together, and you will never see them again. You can believe you're going to reincarnate back into the family, and if you do, you will have no awareness of it. Sadly, people aren't unfolding the way they should. And we should have unfolded greatly in the past 100,000 years. And we didn't. We had 32 psychic abilities then, and we lost them all. Psychics aren't really psychics. They claim to be this, that, and the other thing. Let a psychic come out and say, 1 minute from now, a plane's going to crash right over Indiana. They're not psychic. They're delusional. And then they program thoughts which affect people and create a reality. But healing is temporary. It's only a body. You can only live 125 years. If you go to a healer, you got a back pain. Heal my back pain. Heal my body so I don't die. Why not? You can heal anything. I got a brain tumor. I'll heal that. I got a cancer and I'll heal that. But you can heal my body so I don't die? Why not? Psychics claim a lot of things, but they use your own energy, people. They're not spiritual beings. They're not super powerful. Caroline Corey, I would face her in a second. Here's a pen. Levitate it. Really? So what? If you can levitate a pen, you can levitate a mountain. People like fame, like power and money. ego grows within all that, thinking they're the best or the greatest or this, that, and the other thing. These people, I wish I could put them in their place. I mean, writing them letters, they just delete it. But if I was standing in front of their desk in the conference, because they're all going to be selling their books and having their tables and talking about who and what they are, really name something that what the aliens did for our universe, our planet, and our people. Oh, well, yeah, what? Nothing. Race after race was destroyed. There were so many other races outside of the 9 races that were destroyed. And then when we were brought here, and it's part of the story that's twisted into the Enoch and all that kind of stuff, anew and all that. I thought the Atlantean was not the storybook Atlantean. He was a being that worked with the Council of 9, and that Council of 9 gave him permission to bring 9 races to this planet. That's how it started. We weren't hatched, brought here by a meteorite, any of the ridiculous, dopey stories you hear. But I guess most people like that. They like lies, they like fantasy. I mean, I love fantasy. Makes me think of what we could do, what we could create if we were working from any spiritual level, which we're not. All right, people. Send this link to everybody you can. Send it to any UFO person you know. Like I said, I just canceled my hotel. I laid out $1,000 for it for 3 days at the Luxor, and all these people are going to be there. I'd like to talk to at least 10 of them, the ones with the biggest egos, claiming this and claiming, but people that have nothing to do or say about the UFO world, like the person that's running it. All he does is a spokesperson for people that talk to him. And I hate that. If you don't have experience in something, you shouldn't be talking about it. Period. Talking about giving birth and you're a guy and you never experienced it. I can even talk about that because in past life I was a female and gave birth to a child. And I remember every aspect of it. So, I mean, these people, well, this, that, and then they make somebody's story sound incredible, even though they have no idea what went down. All right, people. You can follow the truth, you can follow the lies. You got a choice always. The hardest part is to learn which one's which and which one you really want to follow. And what's your goal? To buy a house? I mean, not that kind of a goal. What happens do you want to attain, achieve by the end of your life? What do you want to leave behind? Anything? What do you think you were here for? Anything? Well, blah, 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 blah. No. Every soul has a reason to become better. And that doesn't mean staying on planet Earth. All right, people. Till next time. Peace, joy, love, whatever you need in your life. Hope you get it. Don't stop. Don't follow the lies if you can. Learn to detect which ones are and which ones aren't. Till next time.